This show is made possible by support from landsharks.ca. Visit them for all your coin and swag needs at www.landsharks.ca. And by viewers like you. Thank you for your donations.
Cache Blitz wrap-up, a new event in Iowa, and a product review. This is Trackfiles. Hi there, and welcome to Trackfiles. I'm your host, Icenrye. Trackfiles is a brand new video podcast featuring geocaching news, product reviews from guest podcasters, event information, milestones, YouTube video reviews, and lots of other fun things related to the sport of caching. My website is trackfiles.tv, and my email address, for now, is geoicenrye@icenrye.com. And if you're on Twitter, you can follow me at Trackfiles. So, what's new? Well, if you're a regular viewer of the old Videozine, I haven't done anything since April because, well, I took most of spring off and the summer, and here it is towards the end of August. We started getting to fall, and it's time to get back into the studio. However, I did go on a bit of a trip this summer. Those of you who follow me on Twitter, well, you know the story. Let's roll some tape.
So those of you that follow me on Twitter know that for the last couple of weeks I've been talking about heading down to Oregon to look up a piece of metal. Here it is, the original stash plaque, standing at the birthplace of our great sport of geocaching. This is where the madness started. Just think, back in 2000, a guy came along, dug a hole, put a bucket in there, put some stuff in, posted the coordinates to a news group, and who'd ever thought it'd get as far as it has today? Wow. As for this spot, well, it is a really great spot. It's almost like being out in the middle of nowhere. Beautiful twisty road. Kind of wish I had a motorcycle with me. It's a beautiful road. Again, if it wasn't for geocaching, I would never notice this place. I live 600-700 miles away from here. It's a 2-day drive down from Prince George. I'd never know about this spot. And that's what I love most about geocaching. Where it gets you out to places that you would never discover if it wasn't for this sport. So one of my rules of the podcast is that I never give away spoilers. Well, for this cache, I'm going to break the rules. This cache is called Holy Macro, and it's located just down the road from the original stash plaque. Now, the instructions are fairly simple. Go to the structure, find a red bison tube. Well, here's your red bison tube. The thing is, it's not exactly a bison tube. It has to be one of the world's largest olive containers. And the olive container, that should be a hint, is absolutely jam-packed full of film canisters. And you'll never believe where the log is. Folks, if you're going to try this one, bring about 20 people. When I came here, there was a group of 4 young cachers having at it, and I jumped in, gave them a hand, and it still took us about a good 20 minutes by the time we finally found the log. Holy mackerel. We could say something else, but this is, after all, a family show. Yeah, so it turns out my timing was off a bit this year. I was actually on vacation the week before Geo Woodstock, so I was unable to attend. But for all those who went, sounds like it was a great time, including some of the local cachers here from Prince George. But anyway, let's get into the meat of this show. Let's get into some caching news. So first off, in caching news, the British Columbia Geocaching Association recently held their Cache Blitz wrap-up events. And here in Prince George, our event was fairly well attended. Myself, I was in Jasper the weekend. Sorry guys, bad planning again on my part. However, they gave out some great hardware, and the overall award in the Prince George area went to Austnsdad for his cache victory bonus. So congratulations, Austnsdad, on your award. I still haven't found that cache yet. I got to get my button gear to go out and track it down. Also, if you're in the Prince George area, make sure you set your calendar for the Cache and Release event coming up in a few weeks. And I'll have more information on that event on a future episode of Trackfile. Next, we go to Toronto for an article from the Toronto Sun. Geocachers find the city's hidden charms. Among the city's many charms, one is consistently overlooked. It's hidden treasure, and you're probably within walking distance of it right now. This article is an interview with Northern Penguin of the Toronto Area Geocachers Association. Great article. I'll have links on the website. Go check it out. Next in the news, we go to the State in South Carolina. Geocaching proves fun for all ages. In Orangeburg, South Carolina, many children imagine themselves as pirates, seeking buried treasure, their imaginations full-blown and in tow. Thanks to the advent of hand-sized global positioning systems, a new form of the old childhood game is now becoming popular with people of all ages. Another great article on the introduction of our sport, bringing it to the masses. For our final news article, we go to the state of Iowa for an upcoming event announcement. From the Daily Gate, Lee County to host geocaching event, Hide and Seek 2010, Fort Madison. The Iowa Geocachers organization announces the selection of Lee County as this year's location for the group's flagship annual event, the IGO Hide and Seek. The event, which takes place from Friday, September 24th through Sunday, September 26th, will be headquartered in Rodeo Park in Fort Madison, but will encompass the entire county. Guys, sounds like it's a great event coming up. And if you happen to have some video footage, give me a shout at Icenrye at Icenrye.com and I'll let you know how to get it featured in Trackfiles. So that about wraps it up for news. Let's give away some coin. So some of you may remember way back when on the old Videozine I announced the YouTube coin giveaway contest for videos. Well, I had many videos sent in, a lot of them were good. Some of them unfortunately had disqualified because of the use of music, but one stood out. And I absolutely love this video. It was very well done. Some great scenery, some great cinematography, lots of participation. Even has a little tutorial in there on making syrup. So, who won? Drum roll please. And the coin goes to Winter Geocaching on the Gaspereau River Trail 2 by Storm 1. Congratulations, Storm 1. That was a great video. And I really got a smile out of it when I saw that it was filmed in the Annapolis Valley. I actually have quite a few family in that area. My father's actually from Auburn. And I haven't been back east in a long time. And boy, do I miss Nova Scotia and the Cabot Trail and the Annapolis Valley. And yes, I have to get back there sometime. And a little trivial fact for those of you who don't know, the very first cache in Canada was hidden in Nova Scotia. But anyway, why am I talking? Let's watch a little bit of the video and you'll be able to find a link to the full video on my website.
10 of us all together. Trail's pretty wet in spots actually. Mother Nature didn't want to cooperate, but still lots of snow.
So it's a winter mint flavor. It's a yellow birch. It's a birch tree, but it doesn't have the papery white bark. It's got a golden flaky bark, and everyone knows what a maple tastes and smells like. The yellow birch is a winter mint. You can tap them. They have as high a sugar content, just not the volume. And when you boil that down, you get a peppermint syrup. But it takes a lot of trees.
So again, congratulations to Storm 1 for your great video. Make sure you email me with your snail mail address. I'll get that coin off as quick as possible. Next, let's look at a product review. Daryl W4, host of Cache-A-Maniacs, Catches It Around Table and co-host of the Geocaching Podcast, sent me a review a while back on supposedly, what is it, Daryl? Magellan has a new GPS unit?
Yeah, Icenrye, if no one's heard by now, then I think they're not listening to any of the podcasts. But yeah, I got my hands on one of these cool new eXplorist GCs. It's a geocaching only GPS for Magellan. Very much like a lot of the Tritons, but completely different look. So to give you an idea, this is the eXplorist GC next to the Triton 500, the eTrex, the Oregon, and of course the one I use most of the time these days, the DeLorme PN40. So I'm here today to actually give you a little bit of info about this eXplorist GC, as we hunt for a couple of caches in Hines Park, which is this cool little park system in Wayne County, Michigan. So come along and I'll talk a little bit about it more on the road. Okay, so we found that one without a problem. Nice little unit, I like it so far, but let me show you a couple of things about the physical makeup of the unit. So what we have is a 2.2 inch diagonal screen with the buttons and the little joystick for navigation, which like many of us are familiar with is the push to select. Very nice. And then in the back we've got down here the little hoop for the lanyard or whatever you want to attach, but the mini USB jack and a nice locking door for the batteries. And it actually comes with 2 lithium AA batteries, and I've tried these things probably somewhere around 8 hours so far, with about another 6 in its standby mode, or suspend mode actually, where it continues tracking, and it works pretty well. Alright, we're going to go set this up for that next cache, and you're going to follow along with some screenshots I grabbed earlier, so they're not going to look quite the same as this. But you start at the main menu, and it shows you all of the caches right around you, which is nice in the way they have this set up, because it gives you all of those icons, tells you what you've done with that little circle that you see over at the right there. But the really cool thing about this unit that really sets it apart from the others is when you go into this search and sort, or actually sort and search from the menu, and that will give you the option to change the status. You can set whether you want to show all types of caches or just specific ones, the sizes, the difficulty, the terrain, sort by the nearest, and you can search by the GC number. So we'll search by that GC number, which I'm not going to do right here because it's going to take a little bit of time and don't want to waste that much time on film. Going to go hit that cache, and now look at all the great information we have here. The distance, the description of the cache, the logs, its hints if there are any. And here's what I find really cool is if you take a look, we've got pictures. Now this one, it doesn't look quite right because it's been resized to fit into the GPS screen. But if you're going to be doing some of these puzzle caches or that kind of stuff, it's very cool. So that's it, and let's get going to that cache. We want to drop one of these cool Cache-A-Maniacs lanyards in there if nothing else. Got a few of them. And for those of you who will make it to Geo Woodstock, they'll be in those swag bags. But let's take off. Alright, success. We found the cache. Pretty cool little, not easy, but not too hard find. But we're going to jam it full of some of our custom lanyards here and be on our way to the next cache. So thanks for checking out the eXplorist GC, and we'll have more information on various blog posts and also on the Geocaching Podcast. So check that stuff out, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. Thanks a lot, Icenrye, and I'll see you later.
So thanks for that great review, Daryl. Sounds like a very interesting unit. Great way to get new people into the sport. So next, we're going to take a look at a couple of milestones. And for this first episode of the podcast, I'm going to stay a little local here in the Prince George area, where 4 cachers had fairly prominent geocaching milestones. First off, congratulations go to Plumbrook Acres and Austnsdad for reaching 1,000 finds. Guys, it was great getting there. And if you follow me on Twitter or you've been following my stats, I managed to hit the 1,000 find mark myself. And now after 1,000 finds, I think I'm starting to get the hang of the sport, though there's still the odd one once that I can't find. Anyway, also really big shout out to local cacher and mountain climbing guru Goat. He's not a person, he's actually a goat. Is Mally Boo Boo, who recently just hit 2,000 finds. So Craig, buddy, keep them coming, keep them going. You're doing a great job hiding them, and you're doing an awesome job finding them. So for the final segment, I'm going to have a look back at the past week at some of the other geocaching podcasts and what's also out there for you to listen to. If you'd like to find links to any of these podcasts, make sure you drop by the website. I'll have all the links there. So we start off with Cache-A-Maniacs. Daryl and Icenrye interview Carolina Moon of Southeast Tennessee. She uses paper and her Garmin eTrex for all her caching. Next, we go to Sunny and Sandy in sunny San Diego for Podcacher, where they had bombs and baby names. An interesting geocaching bomb scare story that's not what you might first think, and a first look at the Android geocaching app.
So next we go to the Geocaching Podcast, where they had the August Cacher Coffee and also a review of the Android app. So next we go under to Australia to visit with Geotalk. In this episode, Darren has some good news from Tidbinbilla, an update from New Zealand, and he asks you to send in some of your sneaky geocaching stories. So these are just some of the geocaching podcasts out there, and I'll have links to these and many more on my website. Well, that about wraps it up for this debut episode of Trackfiles. I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to email me, email address is geoicenrye@icenrye.com. Make sure you drop by the website at trackfiles.tv, and of course you can follow me on Twitter at Trackfiles. Also, gotta give a shout out to Landsharks, new show, same sponsor, and I still have lots of great stuff because, well, it's a new show, I gotta have some new contests, and again they'll be announced in future episodes of Trackfiles. However, one thing that's not changing is my ending because I like it so much. So in the meantime, in between time, that's it, another episode of Trackfiles. So until the next episode, cache on.